Tonight on News 5 Live, the 11th Amendment rears its ugly head as opposition leader Shine Barrow basks in the limelight of a Disney documentary and a political endorsement. Will the Bersenio administration succeed in passing a law that will prohibit convicts from leading the country? Will government appeal the recent sugar ruling? And 19-year-old Aaron Chavez is gunned down in Belize City. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Whether you're in a bustling urban area or a tranquil rural community, connectivity matters. Internet access is key to continued socioeconomic development. That is why Digi, our national telecom, has and will continue to invest millions of dollars to expand its mobile and fiber networks throughout Belize. Thousands of mobile users and households, especially along the highways and in rural communities, are now enjoying the benefits of Digi's resilient infrastructure. Our national telecom will continue to lead the charge towards digital transformation by utilizing cutting-edge technology and maintaining an unwavering dedication to excellence. With our DigiWallet solution, Belizeans in urban and rural areas now have easy and safe access to a wide array of financial services via their mobile devices. And with the recent launch of DigiTV, Digi has made history, becoming the only quad play service provider in Belize. Now, customers can save with our DigiOne bundles that offer home internet, mobile, home phone, and DigiTV services all in one place. Digi is committed to providing all communities with access to high-quality, reliable, and affordable services while unlocking untapped potential and opening the doors to a brighter future for all. Be a part of the transformation and experience connectivity like never before. Because with Digi, connectivity matters.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Digi users, vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the contestant's number and sending it to 588. Voting will be open from 8 p.m. on Tuesday until Sunday at midnight. Each vote costs 55 cents. Smart users, vote by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to 5885. Each vote costs 50 cents. Here are this week's contestants.
Welcome to Belize, lots of free paradise waiting for you. Welcome, one and all.
Ella se fue, no regresó, el sentimiento no, ay qué dolor. Ella se fue, no regresó.
Early in the morning till late in the evening, Everybody jamming, release and celebrating. If you know your heart weak, you can't jam to this beat. With the pump, pump it up. With the pump, pump.
And when my man give me loving at night, I'm thinking about me, my ex-boyfriend. Cause nobody do my body like you do. You are my boo. Although I have a new man in my life, I want about me, my ex-boyfriend.
Tune in to KTV The Remix Season 5 every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live only on 5.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Thursday, August 10th. I am Sabrina Daly. Has the People's United Party purposely decided to rain on the leader of the opposition's parade? As we reported on Wednesday, Shine Barrow is in the process of filming for a Disney documentary on his life. He is also gearing up for an endorsement convention this weekend where his leadership of the United Democratic Party is being fully supported. But 2 years ago, the Briceño administration sought to introduce a law that would essentially prohibit persons with criminal records, including felonies, from running for office. Barrow, as it is widely known, served almost a decade in a U.S. prison following a shooting inside a nightclub in New York. Despite having turned his life around and entered electoral politics, the new law, once enacted, can adversely affect his political career. This morning, the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee met to revisit the 11th Amendment. News 5's Isani Catano reports.
The resurrection of a proposed piece of legislation threatens to undermine Shine Barrow's ambition to one day become the Prime Minister of this country. The 11th Amendment remained dormant for almost 2.5 years, ever since the Upper House raised serious concerns that ultimately led to the bill being shelved. Its timing also seems convenient, as the leader of the opposition is once again basking in the limelight of international exposure and is heading into a convention this weekend that will see his leadership of the United Democratic Party being endorsed.
It's clearly a weaponization of the Constitution of Belize to attack your political opponent. I cannot describe it as anything other than what it clearly is.
The 11th Amendment, a controversial bill that, once enacted, seeks to disqualify individuals with criminal convictions from running for public office as members of Parliament. It's a motion that was tabled under the Briceño administration back in 2021.
As a responsible committee, we had to bring it back to the House. That's understanding ours, that a constitutional change takes 90 days. After 90 days, then the House, if the committee does not call a meeting to address, then the House will have to make that decision to take it back, and they normally will. So it has to go back. And so a decision was made that let's do it through the committee. A meeting was held. The Honorable Barrow gave his presentation. We asked for a vote. It was unanimous that it go back to the House. It's not that we are approving anything. We are taking back the amendment to the House for second reading.
But why is the proposed change being revisited at this time, considering the fact that it had been turned down initially by the civil society senators in the Upper House?
The last time this legislation was put forward, all of the senators wrote to the Prime Minister to complain that they did not appreciate the piecemeal approach, I quote, to amending our Constitution, and that they would prefer a holistic approach. And so that is what stayed the 11th Amendment, because we had a House committee meeting about it, and it was debated and discussed And there were many members who said, well, yes, we understand that piecemeal is not the best way, and we need to look at this in a comprehensive fashion.
That all-inclusive approach would be led by the People's Constitution Commission, which is charged with reviewing the existing laws of Belize and provide recommendations for revision. Nonetheless, the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee has taken it upon itself to reconsider the proposed amendment. How would you respond to any critic who says, okay, well, perhaps this is being done at this present moment, perhaps to respond in some political way to the no confidence motion that has been brought by Mr. Barrow against the leadership of this administration?
That is normal to come up in anybody's mind. That's the first thing somebody would think of. And I think if you're a human being, it could be a part of the formula. At the end of the day, we are politicians. It's something that's on the table. You heat up the table a lot, then let's deal with everything.
For Barrow, whose rise to prominence in Belizean politics succeeds a lengthy prison sentence in the United States for a criminal offense committed with a firearm at the age of 19, this is an attempt to derail his career.
Here we are now, 2 years later. There has been no activity from someone who was convicted of more than a year to suggest that the country is in grave danger if this constitutional amendment is not put forward. So to me it is an endorsement. I'm being endorsed by my party on Sunday, but it is also an endorsement by the PUP if it counts for anything, because they are nothing that is same right now, Kilich Kalach. But it proves that I have the PUP along with my party. We have them rattled, we have them shook, we have them frightened. Why else would they be coming with this ad hominem legislation that does not address any of the current urgent issues?
In a case where, if we look at the Shine Barrow situation, his record has been expunged. He has served the time. The offense has been stricken from his record. Why then would that be applicable in a situation like this, where this administration is seeking to put in place a certain piece of law that would prohibit someone from running for the highest office, notwithstanding the record being cleared?
You served your time in the United States, yet you cannot live in the United States because after you served your time, they decided that you are not fit to remain in the country. Right or wrong? That's a decision they made. We are asking our people, is a convicted criminal fit to lead us? We are not deciding on it. That's a decision we have to make. Would you, I'll ask you this question, would you allow a convicted rapist to be the babysitter of your child, even though he has spent time? Ask yourself that question. Those are critical questions that we need to ask ourselves.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
According to Julius Espat, the chair of the Constitution House Committee, they are simply trying to establish a criteria for anyone desirous of becoming the next leader of the country. The move, says opposition leader Barrow, is merely a ploy to unseat him from Parliament.
If we have a problem in the international courts, he leads the charge. If there is an emergency and a crisis, he leads the charge. You have to have somebody that's credible. That's all we are trying to do. Establish a level that everybody is proud of, that can support. It doesn't matter of the political affiliation. It's the credibility of the person that leads. And every country is going through that doubt, that question. Every country, that's why you have reforms. Your people are asking.
And while reform is great and perhaps it's the way to go, some would argue that so is redemption. If a man has had a chance to clean up his act and aspires to high office, then...
I'll be honest with you. I pray for any convicted rapist. I hope they live a great life, but I would never have them take care of my child. That's my decision. I would not sleep well.
The law, as drafted by the original drafters of the Constitution, they envisioned what it is they were trying to accomplish. Now here we are, 43 years later, and the People's United Party want to totally change the law to go outside of the Commonwealth. The law as it stands only deals with crimes committed in the Commonwealth. That is for good reason, because in other jurisdictions, you could be sentenced to prison for a year or more for crimes having to do with your sexual orientation, for crimes having to do with your religious belief, for crimes having to do with your political belief, for other crimes that we may not consider crimes in Belize or throughout the Commonwealth. That is for good reason that it is restricted to the Commonwealth. But this is clearly ad hominem. They are changing the Constitution to suit the agenda, which is to overthrow the leader of the opposition and destabilize the United Democratic Party.
Depending on where this all goes, are you prepared for a legal challenge to be mounted?
Absolutely, but I do not believe that it will pass in the Senate. I do not believe it will pass in the Senate, but so we'll take it one step at a time. I do not believe the independent senators will support such a legislation.
There has been an overwhelming show of support for the leadership of Prime Minister John Briceño ahead of Friday's sitting of the House of Representatives. Earlier this month, opposition leader Shine Barrow submitted a request for a no-confidence motion to be tabled in that House of Representatives at its next sitting. That is, tomorrow. Following a cabinet meeting on Tuesday, senior members of the Briceño administration came together in a show of solidarity with the Prime Minister. That display of unity was followed by as many as 9 releases from various arms of the People's United Party, standing firmly behind Prime Minister John Briceño. Earlier today, we spoke with Cayo South Area Representative Julio Cespat.
Our Prime Minister and our leader came under attack, trying to paint him in a position that we are not in support of him. So it was our responsibility as a party to be able to show the Belizean people that that is not the case. And how better to do it than the organs of the party. So the releases did not come frivolously. You are talking the United Women Movement, you're talking the Marshals, you're talking the youth movement of the party, you're talking the National Executive, you're speaking of the different caucuses. Here we have representatives of 3 different caucuses, the East, the West, and the South, and the North also. Everybody felt that it was important for us to support the leadership of the party. Why? Because John Briceño represents us, and we represent them, and collectively we represent the people of Belize, and therefore we cannot allow him to be attacked if it's not true. And it is not true. The work that the various ministries have been doing have been, in my opinion, exemplary. Ministry of Education has been doing an awesome job. Ministry of Defense have been doing their job. Ministry of the Youths, and I was just reminded of how many medals we have won recently. MIDH humbly is doing what they need to do. We do have mistakes, we do have things that are not perfect, but in the general aspect of things, I think we are doing a good job. Why are we able to do that? Because our leader allows us to function, and we in return give him advice. That the relationship is not 100% yes, sir. It's not like that. We have debates in cabinet. We have disagreements in cabinet. But if you ask us, does he have our support? Definitely. And that's what happened.
Tonight, a family is torn after their loved one is gunned down in Belize City. The incident happened in the Lake Independence area on Zacaranda Street sometime before 10 a.m. The deceased Aaron Chavez was no stranger to the law, having been charged a few times with theft and robbery, but his family says that he is not affiliated with any gang, and the police could not say so today. While investigators try to piece together this latest homicide and the motive for it, yet another family is left with questions and open wounds. News 5's Marian Ali reports.
The bloodstains at the entrance of this yard mark the spot where 19-year-old Aaron Chavez collapsed and died after he was shot multiple times this morning. The incident happened in an area where a number of surveillance cameras are installed. While police have initiated their investigations, they would not say whether those cameras provide any useful evidence.
This morning, sometime before 10 a.m., police received information of shots fired on Zakaranda Street. They responded, and upon arrival, they saw the lifeless body of a male person who was later identified as Aaron Chavez. He displayed multiple gunshot injuries. He was taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Investigators are currently probing the area, looking for clues, talking to people who may be able to provide information and can assist the police in this latest homicide in Belize City.
Commissioner of Police Chester Williams said that at this point, no motive has been established. While authorities had placed the hot zones in Belize City under a state of emergency on July 31st, the commissioner said that the preventative measures is not going to stop all murders from occurring. But he assured that the Belize Police Department is trying to discourage any retaliatory shooting.
Jamaica is under a state of emergency for the past 3 years, and check how much murder they've had since then. It is not a cure for all murders. There are still going to be incidents, but certainly it do help in terms of mitigating the amount of murders that we have. We're exploring every possibility and we'll do whatever we can to avert any retaliation should there be any.
Police say that Aaron Chavez is from Mayflower Street, but could not say if he was affiliated with any gang. Today, his sister, Sherilyn Urtiz, told reporters off camera that while her brother had his faults, he did not deserve his fate.
My brother is no good guy or no saint, but he's not a bad person either. He does not kill no one to deserve to no one to kill him.
This is not the first time that the family has lost a loved one to gun violence. In May 2018, Michelle Anderson, the mother of 9, was shot dead as she made a few purchases at the Michael Finnegan market. Urtiz says that their mother's murder impacted her brother's life significantly.
That really put a big impact on him, because since my mother died, he just changes, be a different person, not feel welcoming, wanting that I can go to my mom, eat, at least someone will have my back. So that put him in another different dimension, another world. And from then, it's like nothing, never been the same again. And he never really the part of no gang. My brother don't mess with gang. The only thing my brother might do, the only charge of my brother got that like different, so. But my brother don't know a gang person, no, he not gone up for no murder, no things like that. So why they do this to him?
Through the grief, Sherilyn Urtiz managed to smile when she remembered her last conversation with her sibling. The last time you saw him, what was that conversation like?
I have a laugh. The last time I talked to my brother, he asked me if I choose the last credit, to be honest. He like play Netflix, but you're not going to know Netflix. So he said, send I choose the last credit for me. But I tell him I will send it later, but when I got my shop, I think I get busy and I never did send the credit. They called me back. He said, no worry, you're not sending it for me, but I don't get it. I must say, one of my friends there. So I tell her, no, their girlfriend send the credit for you. He said, all right, then he said, I love you, sis, and I tell her, I love you too, brother.
When was that?
It was like the day before.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
Coming up, new AG Anthony Sylvester speaks about taking up office. We'll have more details when we come back.
Hey everyone, welcome to our summer adventure with the Belize City Council.
Let's start with the Pee Wee Basketball League. It was super exciting learning new skills.
This is my second year in the program and every year I make new friends.
In amateur videography, we got to make our own cool videos.
We learned to shoot, edit, and add effects to make our videos about bullying and mental health even more impactful.
Penny's Pinchers was another fantastic program. We learned how to save money and manage it wisely.
Not to mention, all the participants of the Penny Pinchers program will be rewarded a free saving account through the CAN partnership of Atlantic Bank Limited and other CAN donors.
And let's not forget about swimming.
It was a blast, and I feel more confident in the water now.
My favorite experience was the Building a Better You program. It taught me how to communicate and express myself in a positive way.
Me too, and more importantly, I learned to celebrate myself and my accomplishments.
And the best thing about it all were the weekly trips, like the Belize City Council tour and the Museum of Belize.
Thank you, Belize City Council, the Child Advisory Body of Belize City, and the partners who made all these programs come possible.
We can't wait till next summer.
When I was a student, ICB was there to protect me, ensuring my education and future. When I got my first car, ICB was there to protect me, providing excellent coverage and peace of mind on the road. When we moved into our first apartment, ICB was there to protect us, securing our belongings and giving us a sense of security. And when we got our first house, ICB was there for us, protecting our home and everything we've worked so hard for.
At every step of your life's journey, ICB is there for you. For more information, call 224-5328 or visit our nearest branch.
The new school year is almost here, so it's time to end the summer with a bang. Come see kids from all over the country while they take center stage to show off their talent on Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2023. That's right, mark your calendars. Friday, August 18th at 6:30 a.m. at Channel 5 on Kona Drive. Come and start your morning right with kids singing and dancing. Also, come take advantage of great food, entertainment, and loads of back-to-school giveaways, including gifts for the first 100 kids who enter the fest. And the best thing of all, entrance is free. So, what are you waiting for? Set your alarm and pencil in that date because Summerfest 2023 is one event you don't want to miss.
Why me están llenando de energía? You guys are filling me up with energy. We want a government that will be creating jobs for the Belizean people. That will ensure that your children are going to go to school. A government that is going to fight the crime. We want hope. And that is what the PUP is all about. A party that fights for all Belizeans. Adelante, PUP!
The Office of the Prime Minister invites you to join us at the second annual Belize Investment Summit from August 30th to September 1st, 2023 at the Grand Caribe Resort on Ambergers Caye. Belize, the land of endless potential, with a vibrant people and economy and a wealth of natural resources, is the region's premier investment hub, offering a range of opportunities across sectors including the blue, green, and orange economies. The Belize Investment Summit 2023 is your chance to explore these opportunities and connect with potential partners, investors, financiers, and stakeholders from across the globe. This 3-day summit will offer networking opportunities, site visits, one-on-one meetings, roundtable discussions, business pitches, an expo, and keynote presentations from government officials and industry leaders. Gain insight into Belize's investment climate and the incentives that make our country the destination for investment. Register now for the Belize Investment Summit 2023 and discover a world of opportunities. Be a believer. Invest in Belize. Thrive in Belize.
He took up office as Attorney General of Belize at the end of June, replacing Magali Marin Young after 2.5 years as Chief Legal Officer for the Briceño administration. Tonight, in his first interview as AG, Anthony Sylvester speaks to News 5 about taking on the role, including litigation brought against the government. Among those cases now under his management are legal challenges over cruise ports. As Chief Legal Officer to the government of Belize, he also deals with the drafting and amendment of legislation. AG Sylvester says that it is a task that he is prepared to take on.
It is, of course, an honor to be selected and to serve in the office of Attorney General of the country. It is the Attorney General's ministry, of course. The mandate and the role is very vast. It includes advising all government ministries. It involves as well representing all government ministries and at times statutory bodies, in matters before the courts. As well, my apologies. As well, it includes we have the primary focus of ensuring that legislations. There may be an issue with respect to the need for changes in traffic regulations. So, the ministry may have it as a policy, but it is our ministry, our drafters, or a very competent, able, committed team of drafters and another counsel in the litigation unit, international affairs unit, the legal advice unit. I mean, they basically ensure that the governance of this country is able to be done, because on a day-to-day basis, every ministry needs advice, they need guidance, they need representation.
You get sued whenever the government.
Yes. So it is. Our role is indeed very vast, very wide, and I am very fortunate to have a very committed and a very able team and support system.
Attorney General Anthony Sylvester also responded to a decision on the Sugar Industry Act, where the High Court has ruled that some sections of the act are unconstitutional. Among them is that a cane farmer has to be a member of an association to be able to deliver cane to the millers, and that monies must be paid to the Sugar Industry Control Board and other committees by BSI for their operational expenses. GOB has had a meeting with the stakeholders since the ruling, including AG Sylvester. He says that these long-standing arrangements were codified in the legislation and will now need to be revisited.
That was a claim that was filed in 2022 by BSI against the Attorney General. So there was a challenge to the Sugar Industry Act and the BSI as a manufacturer, and there was also another claimant who would have been a cane farmer. And so there was a challenge to different aspects, different sections of the act, and they were partially successful. The court did rule that certain portions, certain sections of the act unconstitutional. So the office is still in the process of reviewing the decision with a view of providing advice to Cabinet. Cabinet, of course, will have to consider the matter more fully and decide as it relates to what would be the way forward. There are, of course, some of the consequential orders made by the court was in respect to the aspect of funding the operation of the SIB, the Sugar Industry Control Board, and its various agencies, which include the Sugarcane Production Committee, the Quality Control Authority, as well as they have a research and development institute. So those aspects, or those part of the Sugar Industry Control Board, they were partially funded by the arrangement which has been for many years between the farmers and the manufacturers, and which was codified in the legislation.
Will GOB appeal the decision of the High Court, or will the law be amended? The decision will be up to Cabinet to determine the way forward. Attorney General Anthony Sylvester says that it will be discussed at the next Cabinet meeting.
Cabinet would have to look at and would have to consider and to see how best we could craft a way forward that would ensure that the industry, the sustainability of the industry, which is the primary focus of government. Government's focus, obviously, at all times is to ensure that industries, that they remain buoyant, that they are able to be sustainable. So we will have to be considering that. Cabinet will be considering and deciding on the way forward. There's always the option of appealing, and so those are matters which will have to be considered and taken on board and see where we move forward.
When a decision would be made?
In terms of
the way forward, if an amendment will be made to the legislation, would this Sugar Act be?
No, and the question is a fair question. I mean, the public certainly has interest with respect to the matter, but it's a matter which will be taken on by Cabinet. Cabinet meets every Tuesday. So at the time the decision came out, Cabinet this week, Cabinet wouldn't have considered. So at the next Cabinet meeting, I'm sure it would be considered, and so we'd be able to give a better response in terms of the way forward.
The National Evangelical Association of Belize has broken its silence on the mounting sexual abuse allegations that several women have brought against Mervyn Budrum, a worship leader from one of its affiliated churches. Today, NIAB issued a press release 1 week after the allegations surfaced. It reads, quote, "NIAB is appalled to hear the accounts of sexual abuse that have been brought to light in this past week. The awareness coming to the national discourse is desperately needed and has the power to bring forth proactive change. The NIAB stands firmly against sexual abuse in all its forms, and we stand with the victims and commend those who came forward," unquote. NIAB also commended Jubilee Ministries for the manner in which its leaders handled the situation. They say the ministry acted, quote, "swiftly, thoroughly, followed the proper protocols in line with biblical and ethical standards," unquote. According to NIAB, the Child Development Foundation has been partnering with those in ministry to fulfill the church's obligation to at-risk persons and children. They also urged more churches and leaders to get proper training from groups like CDF. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams was asked if there has been any developments in the case. Here is what he said.
I will not provide any details. I know that we have sent the file to the DPP office and we're awaiting advice on that matter.
So you do have virtual complainants?
Yes, I think the police got some statements from some people, and we're awaiting advice on the DPP.
And to clarify, there is no statutory limit, is that the wording?
No. If you all remember, we recently arrested Ambassador Rosado for a matter which took place many years ago. Right, so it's basically if the DPP believe that there is sufficient there that warrants a prosecution.
After the break, will the books be open for BIMFF expenses? We'll tell you about that, but first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
1 in 3 women experience violence at the hands of their husband or partner. That's over 800 million women worldwide. These women can feel trapped, afraid. Their lives are often restricted. Those who consider leaving often fear ending up penniless or losing their children. Over time, their confidence slips away, making a life without violence seem a distant memory. The abuse can lead to injuries, as well as serious physical and mental health problems, in some cases, even death. Many women contract sexually transmitted infections or have unwanted pregnancies, and when pregnant, have a greater risk of miscarriage or of having a premature or low birth weight baby. They can experience depression, anxiety, other mental health problems, or become addicted to drugs and alcohol. It can be hard to know who to trust or where to turn. But there is a place they can go. A visit to a local clinic is often one of the few opportunities women have to go out alone. And it's important for doctors and nurses to make sure this isn't a missed opportunity. When doctors, nurses, and midwives listened with compassion, survivors are more likely to share their story. When they ask the right questions, they can uncover what is really happening and challenge cultural attitudes that say it's okay for a husband to hit his wife. They can reassure women that it's not their fault and can work with women to help them stay safe. And where necessary, connect them with other services that can provide, for example, shelter, psychological support, legal services, and financial opportunities. More women can find their way to a life without violence when changes are implemented across healthcare and other systems. Changes such as private rooms for consultations, training that enables doctors and nurses to respond better to women's needs, and raising awareness of the harmful consequences of violence for women and children and how to prevent it. Making these changes helps foster a culture where violence is unacceptable and where women have the courage to speak out. Imagine if that could happen to each and every one of those 800 million women.
Me están llenando de energía. You guys are full me up with energy. We want a government that will be creating jobs for the Belizean people. That will ensure that your children are going to go to school. A government that is going to fight the crime. We want hope. And that is what the PUP is all about. A party that fights for all Belizeans. Adelante, PUP!
Digi users, vote for your favorite KTV contestant by texting the contestant's number and sending it to 588. Voting will be open from 8 p.m. on Tuesday until Sunday at midnight. Each vote costs 55 cents. Smart users, vote by texting the number of votes followed by a space, then your contestant's number, and send it to 5885. Each vote costs 50 cents. Here are this week's contestants.
Welcome to Belize. Lots of free paradise waiting for you. Welcome, one and all.
Ella se fue, no regresó. El sentimiento no. Ay, qué dolor. Ella se fue, no regresó.
Early in the morning till late in the evening, everybody jamming, Belizean celebrating. If you know your heart weak, you can't jam to this beat. With the pump, with the pump, with the pump, pump, pump.
And when my man give me love in the night, I'm thinking about me, my ex-boyfriend. Cause nobody do my body like you do. You are my boo. Although I have a new man in my life, I want about me, my ex-boyfriend.
Tune in to KTV The Remix Season 5 every Tuesday at 8 p.m. live only on 5.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
How does investment services work? For example, Joe's Construction wants to expand its operations by purchasing new equipment and hiring additional staff. How can Joe's Construction get an investment loan? The answer: Investment Services appraises the loan application and focuses on 2 key areas: adequate collateral and repayability. Investment Services will also consider how Belizeans and the economy will benefit from this new investment through job creation and business growth. The terms and conditions for Joe's Construction loan will be based on the purpose and cash flow. After recommendation and approval, the loan is disbursed. SSB remains committed to proper management of the fund through prudent and responsible investments for the benefit of its beneficiaries, employers, and the Belizean economy. Social Security Board, an investment for you, your family, your future.
A request has been made by the leader of the opposition for the books to be opened and proper accounting be carried out in respect of expenditures relating to the recently held Belize International Music and Food Festival. When asked about accountability for the use of public funds to cover the cost of the festival, PM Briceño bristled at the question. On the other hand, Cabinet Minister Julius Espat says, yes, the books should be opened and made public.
As someone who has long advocated for transparency in public accounting, in the use of monies from the public purse, how do you respond to perhaps a general request being made for a thorough accounting being made of the Belize International Music and Food Festival expenditure?
I don't think that should be a problem. If a request is made, it should be answered by any one of us. We have done so in the past. Our ministry has been requested information from various media entities and we have complied. I believe we should all comply. I got a problem with the statutory bodies that seem to have a different rule than us in the ministry. So maybe that is one of the reform issues that need to be held. But that they still have to be accountable, yes.
The Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry continues to call on the government of Belize to hold consultations with its members on the proposed expansion of the price control list. As we have reported, on June 28th, Cabinet announced that government is developing regulations to expand the price control list by 30 food and 13 non-food items, and to include a 15% and 20% markup ceiling on these items. On July 18th, BCCI wrote to the Prime Minister, informing him that its membership was not consulted on these proposed changes. BCCI further noted that its membership is concerned about the process in which the policy is being formulated. This morning, Joshua Pott, the Chief Policy Analyst at BCCI, and Luis Ugarte, a counselor at BCCI, appeared on Open Your Eyes, where they further explained the organization's position.
What we're saying is that we recognize that inflation is a problem, but we are not agreeing to the tool that is being proposed to combat inflation. Not because we don't want relief to go to the vulnerable households, but because we don't think that the tool will even benefit the vulnerable households who need help the most and could actually make longer term inflation a bit worse. Price controls globally are used as a tool to essentially control prices on certain goods, and it could come either in the form of price floors or more commonly price ceilings. And the body of economic literature through experience, especially amongst developing economies, is that price controls are inefficient. They don't work. As a matter of fact, they might even benefit wealthier households than they do the poorer households. In its place, what is more effective and what we should be considering a lot more are targeted assistance. We can identify who are the vulnerable households in this country. We're a population of less than 500,000. You know, we should be able to identify who the vulnerable households are, the lower income households are, and target assistance to them.
For once, we were not a part of these conversations when they started. And secondly, that we are not being given whatever studies were done or how these percentages were arrived at, how the list came about, you know, how it is going to be enforced. So those are the questions that we have, that we are still waiting on some answers. No? So when you expand that 30 items in the food items, and you add the 13 other non-food items, you are looking at over 1,000 different products. So it's not 30.
Yeah.
No, it's far-reaching than 30. And then that's where it becomes even more difficult to police.
The last time reporters asked the Prime Minister about the letter that BCCI wrote to him, PM Briceño stated that his government has met with numerous large-scale retailers to inform them of the move. Prime Minister Briceño also said that BCCI should have been more proactive in informing its members that the government of Belize would take action if the issue of price gouging persisted. The Chief Policy Analyst at BCCI, Joshua Pott, says BCCI agrees that price gouging and inflation are prevailing issues. However, according to Pott, BCCI does not support the tool that Prime Minister Briceño and his cabinet are proposing to arrive at a solution.
We propose in the letter and in every other media engagement that we have, that we want to be included in the table. We think that we can make positive contributions to the conversation, but also we want to see how the government and the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry can collaborate more in developing schemes for targeted assistance. And it's not anything that is not new to the government either. The government has, I think, done well when they used to do it with the grocery bag initiative, for example. That's an example of targeted assistance, where you identify people that need a certain goods, and then you give the relief to them. That way, you give direct assistance to the beneficiary.
While on one end we're speaking on low-income earners, or that low-income bracket, I think everybody is feeling the pinch.
Of course. You see, it might spread it across the board a little bit where, like you said, maybe middle income, higher income might be able to benefit from something like a price control, but you're disproportionately impacting the lower incomes as well, because one of the undesired effects that come out of price control is that you sometimes end up in a shortage of goods. Whereas if there is a price control on a particular good, people who can afford it will realize and will start to consume a bit differently. Maybe instead of picking up one of a particular good, they buy two now. You know, whereas the lower income household who was already struggling to buy one of that item is finding that the goods aren't on the shelves as much anymore.
So how does BCCI respond to the criticism that its members are only pushing back because an expanded price control list will cut into their profit margins? Well, Councillor Luis Ugarte says while businesses exist to generate profits, for some, the proposed price control list represents 20% of their revenues. He explained that placing such a significant cap on a business's ability to earn income will create a domino effect.
Let's look beyond the profit margins, right? And we are in business to make money, to create profits. Obviously, you have to have a conscience as well, you know, and everything has a limit. But if you cap businesses, you know, if the ability to earn, then it also has an effect on the entire population, because a lot of these businesses contribute to the development of our society, you know, be it through donations to charitable organizations, I mean, you can name it. Employment. I work for one of the largest importers in Belize, and I can tell you that the amount of letters requesting assistance that we go through on a monthly basis is a lot. I mean, we cannot satisfy everyone, but we do our best. But no, if you are telling me, well, your ability to earn, it's being capped, then as a business, what do? You have to relook at, you know, what you're giving back, because you might not be able to afford it. It's been said that that list, which is about 1,000, no, it for some businesses represent about 20% of your revenues. You know, so we're talking about something substantial.
When we return, the William Dawson Memorial Scholarship is launched.
Babe, have you seen the advisory that NEMA just posted? There's going to be a storm.
Storm? It's not a storm. That's just a little rain. We'll be all right.
Thank goodness that was only a simulation. But what if it wasn't? Consider this. You've worked hard building your future, your family, your business, your home. RFNG Insurance has policy options that can protect your most valued assets so that you can focus on what matters most. Include RFNG Insurance in your hurricane prep. Remember, it pays to get it right with RFNG Insurance, a Road Group company.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Honda Navi, a partner you can rely on. Benquip, equipment, parts, service.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text in to the short code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Today at the Conference Center at the University of Belize Belmopan campus, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the National University and the Ministries of Youth, Education and Home Affairs. It was to establish the William Dawson Memorial Scholarship, which coincides with the launch of a criminal justice program at UB. News 5's Dwayne Moody was there for the signing ceremony and files this report.
It was a proud moment today for those who knew the late director of the Leadership Intervention Unit, as an MOU was signed to launch the William Dawson Memorial Scholarship. It is being introduced along with a new criminal justice program at the University of Belize. It's the brainchild of UB's outgoing board chair, Anthony Sylvester.
William was such a galvanizing force in the society, and he was able to bring together persons who by nature would have conflict with each other. And we were developing the criminology and criminal justice program at the National University. And one of the key aspects of the mandate of the National University is to ensure that programs that they address national development needs and that they are relevant and that they are able to be utilized. The idea is also at the end of 5 years, 3 years, to have a cadre of Belizeans who would be able to as well have the necessary skill set in the criminal justice. And criminal justice is very vast. It's not only the police, but it involves the prison, it involves the court system. So UB is doing its part, and the respective government ministries, they are doing their part to ensure that we're able to have necessary personnel, in the criminal justice program.
10 persons were selected as the first cohort of students to benefit from the scholarship that is geared specifically towards this program, 6 from within the public service and 4 from the general public. Among those lucky recipients is Winona Crawford Jackson, a sociology graduate of SJCJC back in 2012. Jackson says that she is fueled by the recent murder of her brother to pursue this degree.
I have been waiting for a program such as this for a long time. And you see, the turtles always win the race, because imagine I have been patient, waiting for this program, and I got awarded with a scholarship to be amongst the first cohorts. So it's amazing, and I'm looking forward to do great things, and it has been a part of my passion to see social and criminal reformation in Belize, some reformation to our laws, you know, advocacy for those who are really suffering at the hands of crime and violence. And I personally is going through that right now, and the fire has been reignited, refueled, because I lost my brother Louis Beaton.
For Sylvester, it is an achievement being made ahead of the meeting office as chair of the university board. During the ceremony, William Dawson was described as an agent of change, and this is what the program seeks to produce.
William, who came from humble beginnings, who had, like many of us, struggles in our lives, but yet was able to overcome all the odds and be able to be a positive spark, to be able to be someone who created such immense change in the society. I mean, that is something fantastic, and that is something that the recipients, as all the speakers spoke about, it is hopeful that they would be able to as well, when they have completed their degree, to be able to go enter into their respective areas of work and the society, and similarly be a beacon of hope and a beacon of change.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Earlier this year, the Security Services Commission promoted Assistant Commissioner of Police Dr. Richard Rosado to the post of Deputy Commissioner. It was a promotion that the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, has said came upon his recommendation. Rosado, who held the post of Officer Commanding Eastern Division, was given a new desk in Belmopan, with responsibilities for operations and crime. But then in March, Rosado's colleague, Deputy Commissioner of Police Bart Jones, took the matter to court, challenging the promotion on grounds that it was premature. Jones is asking the court to grant him leave to appeal the Security Services Commission's promotion of Rosado. With that matter now before the courts, some had questions when Commissioner of Police Chester Williams assigned Jones to act as commissioner when he left Belize recently on a trip to Mexico. Today, he explained that there's nothing untoward in the way he assigns his deputies, and that all he's doing is trying to give them the experience in that seat.
The police department have 3 co-pilots, 3 deputies, Aaron Guzman, Bart Jones, and Richard Rosado. I would really not want to comment on this, but you have asked. I don't think that there is a divide between the 2 gentlemen. I don't think so. I have seen them working together, and I do not see any issues between them. In the case that Mr. Jones currently has with the Services Commission in respect to the promotion of Mr. Rosado, the Office of the Attorney General, which is a government principal legal advisor, had wrote or have submitted to the courts that there is no seniority between Mr. Rosado and Mr. Jones, that both gentlemen are on the same level. And they arrived at that opinion based on Regulation 26 of the Public Service and Constitutional Regulations, which states that where the promotion date or the appointment date for one officer is within 6 months of the other, then neither of them is senior to the other. As the Commissioner of Police, I have said to both gentlemen, the fact that you are the 2 main persons next in line, whenever I leave the country, I'm going to have you hold over interchangeably. Again, the reason for that is to be able to give both of them the experience in terms of acting in the capacity of the Commissioner of Police. It's not to favor one over the other. And I think that if anyone should feel that they're being disenfranchised, it should be Bart. because every time I left the country, it is Rosado who I left in charge. It's the first time I left Mr. Jones in charge. And it should not be seen as favoring anybody, but rather to try and give both that experience. Should the Prime Minister say today or tomorrow he wants to appoint a new commissioner, he can choose from between any of them because both of them would have had that experience. So I don't want nobody to feel like I am trying to disenfranchise them or treat them in a certain way which is not consistent with our disciplinary code or whatever the case may be. I try to be fair to both of them.
On July 30th, a deadly collision occurred following a high-speed chase by Orange Walk police of two men on a motorcycle in Orange Walk. Soon after the incident, reports started to circulate, alleging the police of knocking down the men and running them over. During the incident, 20-year-old Jesus Sakul, a delivery man, lost his life. But new information that has surfaced since the initial allegations suggests that the police never ran over the men. Surveillance video has shown that the motorcycle Sakul and his nephew, Jairo Guerra, were traveling on ran into a concrete wall after it lost control when the police mobile clipped the back of the bike. Today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the media that the post-mortem also negates that the police ran over Sakul.
One person was there, and that one person who was there spoke to the police but refused to give a statement. But what the person said to the police was consistent with what the police officers were reporting. And let me say that the post-mortem examination was done and it revealed that the young man was not run over by the police vehicle. That's not true. But we're still looking at it. The team of investigators have put together the file and it went to the DPP's rep in Orange Walk today for advice in terms of how we're going to proceed with the matter.
Police believe that they have found the weapon used in the shooting of Nimrod Tillett last month. The discovery comes as part of a sustained operation that police have been conducting in the two northern districts in an effort to stem cartel-related activities in those municipalities. That police operation, according to Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, has yielded a few high-powered weapons, as well as the influence from across the northern border.
We continue our northern operations with a view to avert the issues of cartels from Mexican side influencing some locals in Corozal and Orange Walk to carry out acts on their behalf. And the operations have done a lot in terms of doing house searches, targeting those persons who need to be targeted, conducting patrols within the affected areas. And yes, we have been able to retrieve or remove from the streets 2 AK-47s, those are the 7.62 type rifles, as well as 1 grenade. One of the rifles were recovered from an area in the Corozal district about 2 weeks ago. And we believe that that was the weapon used in the shooting of the guy Tillett. And so we have sent that rifle along with all the expended shells from the different scenes where 7.62 was used to the lab to ascertain if that is the weapon that had been used in those incidents.
Up next, will House Committee bring attention to an absent Sister B?
Every year, World Environment Day is celebrated on June 5, and the Department of the Environment, within the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, joins the nation of Belize and other United Nations member countries in worldwide awareness and action to protect our environment, with this year's theme being to beat plastic pollution. We have seen the effects of climate change, now exacerbated by the effects of plastic pollution, primarily from single-use plastics. The ministry, through the auspices of the Department of the Environment, has enacted the pollution from plastics regulation in 2020, noting that single-use plastics is of high environmental concern. This regulation sought to curb the environmental impacts associated with single-use plastics and to better promote green alternatives, which resulted in the development of national standards for biodegradable products.
The government of Belize, through the Department of Environment, has been controlling and enforcing these regulations to ensure that we protect Belize from the threats of plastic pollution. In so doing, nationwide market surveillance and product sampling has been conducted, resulting in enforcement actions which includes sale prohibition and confiscation of single-use plastics and styrofoam. The detrimental environmental impacts of single-use plastics are everyone's concern. The government calls upon all businesses, industries, civil societies, NGOs, and you, the citizens of Belize, to have civic pride and to help in the fight against plastic pollution and to further contribute to the national efforts in transitioning to a circular economy. Together, we can beat plastic pollution. Happy World Environment Day.
Enjoy endless entertainment with NextGen TV, now available for everyone. NextGen TV is your all-in-one streaming app with over 200 channels of live content, all your live sports, news, and the shows you love. Replay and pause live TV. Enjoy premium Belizean entertainment. Keep up to the latest releases and stream high-quality movies and series on any device. NextGen TV is compatible with Android devices, Amazon Fire devices, iOS, Apple TV, Roku, and Tizen devices, so you can enjoy your favorite content whenever and wherever you want. Contact us for your subscription through our dedicated WhatsApp number, 660-7873. NextGen TV, the ultimate way to watch TV.
The new school year is almost here, so it's time to end the summer with a bang. Come see kids from all over the country while they take center stage to show off their talent on Open Your Eyes Summerfest 2023. That's right, mark your calendars. Friday, August 18th at 6:30 a.m. at Channel 5 on Kona Drive. Come and start your morning right with kids singing and dancing. Also, come take advantage of great food, entertainment, and loads of back-to-school giveaways, including gifts for the first 100 kids who enter the fest. And the best thing of all, entrance is free. So, what are you waiting for? Set your alarm and pencil in that date because Summerfest 2023 is one event you don't want to miss.
Make your summer better. Over $30,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan. Use $100 or more regular prepaid credit. Do a SIM swap or text in to the shark code 786. In the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase.
No waste no time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes. All methods give you more chances to win local airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize valued at $10,000, courtesy of Smart and the Belize Tourism Board.
Promotion ends September 15th. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart's Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
As we've been reporting, there has been an increase in dengue cases in Belize, and the number of cases recorded countrywide is above the threshold. There are also instances of active COVID cases still popping up. As the new school year approaches, Minister of Education Francis Fonseca was asked whether these two illnesses are of concern.
We asked the Minister of Health yesterday in Cabinet about that issue. He assured us that, there have been a few cases, but here and there. But he assured us that the Ministry of Health is not concerned about any real outbreak of COVID. They're monitoring the situation very carefully. But for the most part, again, people are developing mild cases of COVID. So it's not a question of people going back into the hospital, but it's being monitored by the Ministry of Health.
Will there be an amendment made to force Queen Square Area Representative Denise Sistaby Barrow to show up to House meetings? That's the question that was posed to Cabinet Minister and Freetown Area Representative Francis Fonseca. He told the media that House committees are looking at the absences.
We've all been on record to say that that's an absolute travesty. It's a disgrace that an elected member, a duly elected member of the House, has really not shown up at all to do her job. For 2.5 years, I think she's attended 1 or 2 meetings for very brief periods of those meetings. But, in terms of the standing orders, that's something they have select committees, House committees, that look at these things. So that would have to be something that came out of that select committee, the standing orders committee, the House committees. If they make a recommendation, I'm sure we'll look at it.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.